Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video.
Well, hello there. Misa's looking at me so confused right now. She's like, who are you talking to? I have not spoken to the camera in what feels like forever. Hello, we're chatting today. We're in our chatty corner. I have in front of me all my sketches and artwork that I did for Mythical or Rhett and Link. I thought I would just walk you through the process of this project because I am a huge fan of Rhett and Link, and I was very excited to work with them on their newest Wonderhole video. If you haven't seen it yet, I'll put a link in the description. Please watch after this video, or maybe watch that one and then look at the illustrations and then come back to this video. I don't care, you could do whatever with your time. Before we dive in, I'd like to thank the sponsor of today's video, Squarespace.
You guys know, Squarespace has been my #1 website hosting platform for the past 4 years because it's easy to customize, looks great, and has so many amazing features for artists specifically. I can have my portfolio, client forum, and even an online shop all in one place. I just redesigned my website. If you'd like to see that process, check out the video in the cards up on the right-hand corner. Squarespace offers a wide range of beautifully designed templates to help you get your site started, and then you could then customize it to fit your exact needs. Are you selling products online? You could set up an online store right on Squarespace and connect that store to Square to sell in person at market. You could even showcase your portfolio or build out a contact form for clients, which is what I did. They also offer marketing tools like email campaigns for your small business. And if all that sounds good for you and you're ready to get your website set up, check out the link in my description to get started.
This was such an exciting project. They were looking for around 6-ish illustrations for a story. The story is about Ferdinand the Fox. He is stealing all the water from this magical spring, and he's just plotting, and he's using all this water for all these selfish purposes, and there's no water left. And at the end, there's not a good ending. He ends up stealing all the water. So they gave me that story first. After going back and forth a little bit, we decided on we're gonna do 4 inside spreads that are digital and black and white, and then a full color painted front page, and then a full color painted back page. We were working in a 2-week time frame, or about 1.5 weeks. I went ahead and underlined the sections of the story that I thought were the most important that we can illustrate out. And then I brought that back to them. They were like, sounds good, cool. And then I went ahead and did some sketches. These are my initial sketches. Actually, before I did my initial sketches, I looked at the story and wrote out all the characters. We had a possum, deer, owl, skunk, mole, blue jays, hedgehog. And some of these animals I have never drawn before, so I just kind of like rough sketched them out. These are horrible sketches, by the way. I just was trying to get the gist of how I wanted the animals to look like. I was debating whether I should make them a little bit different than how I usually do, like my really thick, blobby, cute characters, but I ended up just doing what I know because there was not enough time. There's not enough time to experiment. We had to stick to what we know. I did really tiny thumbnail sketches for myself. So I like doing this so I could start to figure out what the composition looks like. I just kept refining that over and over. Like I probably draw the same thing like at least 4 to 5 times before I come to kind of like a more final version. For the cover here, you could see I just like marked where the animals were gonna be and where like floral elements are gonna be, just to see where they all lay out in the page and where the title will be. So I did this really rough one, and I did some cleaner sketches. So we have ones of the front cover and the back cover, and I wanted to do kind of like an invisible border with all the magical forest elements because I didn't want to do a full background for all of these. I feel like just a hint of a magical forest was a nice touch. And then with the video being mostly red and blue, we didn't want to have the red and blue too prominent on the page, so I instead opted to keep the red and blue on like the flowers as pops of color. This was the thumbnail sketch for the end cover. I also did thumbnail sketches for each inside page. I scanned all these in, I sent them to the team, and thankfully they had no notes. which we love to hear as freelancers. By this time I had like a week to do all of these, so I was a little stressed. I was stressing a little bit. As for compensation, they came to me with a set budget, which was a little bit lower than what I usually charge. So I went and explained that these will take X amount of hours. I usually have a set rate hourly because I know usually illustrations will probably take me around 8 to 10 hours each. If it's a digital one, it could take me around 4 to 5 hours. I brought them back with my number. Plus, because it's a rush job, I usually charge a little bit more so I could clear my schedule. And they accepted that right away. So always go with your rate. It doesn't hurt to ask. It doesn't hurt to negotiate a fair price for yourself. Okay, so they came back, no notes for those sketches, so it was time to start drawing. I wish I had footage of me painting and drawing these, but guys, I was stressing. I was worried. A week turnaround time is tough. I was on my couch watching SVU, watching New Girl, for like 3 days straight, not doing anything, just drawing and painting on my couch. I didn't even go to the studio because I thought I could just wake up in my apartment and paint faster. I did more sketches in the correct proportions. So I knew I was painting the front cover and the back cover. These are 12 by 18 inches. I like to work big nowadays because when it comes to details, it's so much easier for me to paint bigger. And then when I scan them in digitally, they're very nice and crisp. And this video was in 4K, and I wanted to make sure that the pieces were big enough and the quality was high. I started doing pencil sketches for the digital pieces, but then I was like, it's so much easier to sketch them digitally, and that would save me more time. So I did this first one in pencil, and then I went in and just did the rest digitally. I used Photoshop. My favorite Photoshop brushes are Kyle's Inkbox's gouache brush, and he has a lot of pencil ones as well. So I just use like a variety of those, and I think they mimic real gouache very, very well. Okay, so yeah, let's start with the traditional ones. I sketched them out, and then I traced them using my Lightbox onto watercolor paper, and for these I used my fave acrylic gouache from Holbein. The colors came out so vibrant and pretty. You can see on these though, I didn't add any detail with colored pencils. This is just like one flat wash of paint. I used Photoshop to add details and everything because, again, we were on a time crunch. So I thought it was so much easier to just scan this in and do the details on Photoshop, because then I was able to clean everything up. Like you could see the water. The water I did digitally. I didn't finish it here because then I would have to paint into all these little crevices, and I did not have time for that. If I was doing this as a personal project, yes, I would have sat there for hours and gone through every little thing. But I also had to change the background color, so I did that in Photoshop. God bless computers. And then for this one, I did the same thing. Like I added the bubbles and everything on Photoshop. But I love how these borders turned out, and so I painted these at the same time. So I had both of them on my table so I could keep the colors consistent, because I didn't want to just like do this one day and then have to mix the same colors and then do this the next day and have to mix more colors. So I just did them at the same time, painted, scanned them in, added details on Photoshop, and then I did the lettering also on Photoshop. And then for the digital pieces, those were fairly straightforward. I just used Photoshop. To share the files, I uploaded them to Playbook, which is a great file sharing platform, by the way. Sent them the Playbook link. Their team just took the illustrations, did all the work for the video. I just had to sit back, relax. I was dead after. Their team was amazing to work with. Thank you guys. And a huge shout out to all of you, because without your support, I wouldn't be able to get really fun opportunities like this. Do check out the video. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you like the illustrations. And if you do, leave a little comment on their video saying you came from here. Like, that would be really fun. Thank you so much for letting me yap. I hope this video was helpful. I think I hit everything that I did, but if you have any other questions, do leave a comment down below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!